Hello aspirants, looking at current affairs for 8th December. These are the 6 news items which we have picked up from the Hindu newspaper for today. The first news item is RBI holds rates, cuts growth forecast. So the Reserve Bank of India had its bi-monthly policy meet. So the policy rates are determined by RBI in this. Since the last meet, the decisions are taken by Monetary Policy Committee. So this Monetary Policy Committee comprises of 6 members from both RBI and the government side. So we'll see what this Monetary Policy Committee comprises of too and how the policy rate has been determined. So presently the news is that policy rate has been kept unchanged at 6.25%. The reason being that there are uncertainties in both domestic market and global market. So what are these uncertainties? Domestic market, it is because of the demonetization initiative that it is not clear whether how the economy would fare. So it is a wait and watch applied there. And global developments are specifically more so with respect to US. So US Central Bank, US Federal Reserve will also have its policy decision coming out in the month of December later in some time. So what will be the rate which they would determine? So that is also going to affect India and other developing countries because US is also expected to increase its policy rate. So if the interest rate in US goes high, then many foreign investors in India would take out the investments. So if it is an FII, foreign institutional investment, then it can be taken out overnight too, and they can flee to go back and invest in US. So this is also a fear. Many, even on expectations of an increase in interest rate in US, they have removed their investments from India. So we are seeing flight of capital, foreign capital from India. So we want to stem that too. So we did not decrease the interest rates. So policy rate has not been decreased because of that. Because if the decrease was required, and a decrease in interest rate would spur the economy. So if the economy is undergoing a slowdown or is not faring well, then if there's a decrease in interest rates means for people who want to invest, who want to undertake some economic activity, they can easily get loan at lower interest rates. So lower interest rates spurs the economy. So that's the idea. What is this policy rate? We'll see in detail too. So this last in October 2016 when the previous bi-monthly policy meet was held, at that time policy rate was reduced by 6.5 to 25 basis points. So 25 BPS means basis points. So 25 basis points means 0.25%. So this is, it was 6.5, it went down to 6.25 and this time they have kept it unchanged. Now, another decision at the MPC meet was about the gross value added growth forecast. So under GVA, gross value added growth forecast, they have brought it down from previous forecast of 7.6% to 7.1%. So again a 0.5% decrease has been put forth. So this they say is because of international crude prices which are also rising. So there are some food items prices which are rising. So based on those aspects, the RBI MPC has decided to bring down the GVA growth forecast. So this is regarding the news. So there is another point was on CRR too. We have discussed this earlier too. Cash reserve ratio, which is the percentage of RBI's or percentage of banks reserves, banks amount of money which they hold, which they have to put with the RBI. So on that they don't earn any interest, nothing. So presently the government has removed that requirement. And now from 10th November it will not be applicable, and the government has announced that it will increase the market stabilization scheme bonds. So now 6 lakh crores of bonds will be issued under market stabilization scheme to mop up excess liquidity because a huge amount of money has come up in the banks. So if banks start lending on that, then there will be liquidity, more cash in the economy, flowing in the economy. So to mop up that excess liquidity, the market stabilization scheme is used. All these terms we will discuss here below. So first about policy rate, 6.25% policy rate is what is spoken of is repo rate. So what is repo rate? It stands for repurchasing option. So this repo rate is the rate at which RBI lends to banks for short periods. So this lending, what is the rate of lending will determine even what would be the rate of lending of banks. So that's how it affects to the economy. So this has to be transmitted further across in the economy through the banks. So this generally it happens, sometimes it does not happen too. Many a times it has not happened in India. We have seen because banks already had the burden of NPA, non-performing assets. So if the policy rate was reduced, still banks would not reduce their interest rates. So RBI has raised its voice quite often against this too. So presently when the rates are kept unchanged, it was not going to harm a lot because banks already are running strong with huge amount of deposits coming in. So they may reduce the interest rates and provide spur to the economy anyway too. So this is the repo rate. So this is done. So why is it called repurchasing option? Because RBI buys government bonds from banks and there is repurchasing which would be done after a fixed period of time. So this is repo rate. And what will be the benefit of this repo rate is that repo rate will make this the rate at which the repo rate is fixed will determine whether it is expensive or cheap for the banks to take loans from RBI. So that's how the economy is regulated. So now repo rate is again explained up here, you can see. So this is RBI repurchases bonds from banks because government securities are issued by RBI only. So it is repurchasing them from the banks and giving them short-term loan, and then banks give loans to borrowers. So this, how this rate is determined, determines this rate also. So this is there. So what would be its impact? Everything is discussed here. Banks give long-term loans against short-term deposits. So they have short-term deposits. All banks have short-term deposits with them. It's a savings account. Anybody can come up and ask for withdrawal at any point of time. But based on all the deposits which the banks have collected, they give long-term loans. So when banks give loans, then they will be paid over a period of time. It's a long period of time. So they would not get the returns of the same deposits which they have given to the loanees immediately. So they may have a shortfall on sometimes. So this liability mismatch which they may face, to avoid this, they take short-term loans from the RBI. So that is how the repo rate comes into picture. So this is the rate at which RBI gives loans to banks. So this is there. If it is increased or reduced, of course, if it is reduced, it's good for the consumers. If banks transfer that low repo rate as low interest rate on their loans too. Then this is regarding the Monetary Policy Committee. So this Monetary Policy Committee, presently RBI Governor Mr. Urjit Patel and two other Deputy Governors and an Executive Director are the members from RBI side, and government nominees would be 3. So it's a 6-member body. Non-RBI members are a term of 4 years and each one has a single vote, except that in case of a tie, then the RBI Governor would have a casting vote. So that is there. And also the objective here of the Monetary Policy Committee is to ensure that inflation stays within the target. So targeted rate of inflation is 4% and plus minus 2% is allowed. So that is the band within which inflation should stay. So this is the objective with which Monetary Policy Committee has been set up. So this has its bi-monthly review done, so that we are seeing. This recent October 2016 meeting was the first meeting of this Monetary Policy Committee. Then next we saw about market stabilization scheme. So we saw here, if you remember, the CRR, 100% CRR requirement would be ended from December 10 now, which the RBI had brought in just for the temporary phase, only for the deposits which banks have got during this demonetization period, a little before and after that. So that was the time frame for which it was required to keep entire deposit which it has received with RBI. So now RBI is ending this and it has announced market stabilization scheme, because I told you the difference is that in CRR no interest is earned by the banks, and under market stabilization scheme they would get interest. So what is this market stabilization scheme is discussed here. The market stabilization scheme was introduced in 2004. So under this, government securities are sold by the RBI to the banks, and the money which is brought in is used as such it's kept in a separate MSS account. It is not used by the government, and the RBI has to pay an interest on this to the banks. So that is the catch too, that there is interest to be paid. So how will this be taken care of? MSS limit earlier was 30,000 crore, now it is 6 lakh crores. So how will this huge amount of MSS which will be taken in? So this is for 28 days presently, that this MSS ceiling has been increased because there is huge amount of money with the banks due to demonetization. Such a huge amount of deposits. So all this money cannot go out in the economy, otherwise because if our banks start lending, then they would go. So this, rather than that, it is required that this is sucked in by the RBI. So that is the reason why RBI started this, but market stabilization scheme will allow the banks to earn interest too. So it is good for them as well. Earlier 100% CRR, that was without interest. So this is much better than that. So this is the market stabilization scheme policy. Then next we had seen that GVA growth rate forecast has been reduced by MPC presently, Monetary Policy Committee presently, from 7.6% to 7.1%. So what is this GVA growth rate, that we'll see. So first of all, understanding GDP and GNP. GDP is gross domestic product, means the market value of all final goods and services produced within the country. So that is GDP. The difference between GDP and GNP is that GNP is gross national product. So it is by nationals, not just GDP is geographic concept within the territory of India, and GNP is national wise. So if there are foreigners working in India, so that payments have to be deducted, and there are Indians working abroad, those payments have to be added. So that gives you GNP. So it's called net factor payments. Factor payments are payments like wages, profits, rent. So these are payments made to people working, people, Indians doing business. So that way, so wages, profits, rent, interest, dividends, all these are factor payments. So that is the distinction between GDP and GNP. Next, GVA. So this is the new method with which growth rate is determined. So what is gross value added? So gross value added is taking into consideration taxes and subsidies. So when you do GDP calculation, so generally GDP is the way comparisons are done. So GNP is actually as a different concept, but then GDP is the calculations used to determine growth rate. But now government is using GVA forecasts also. So GVA growth rate. So difference between GDP and GVA is with respect to taxes and subsidies. Means when GDP is calculated, then taxes are also included, because in GDP definition, you should remember we saw it is market value of all goods and services. So market value is MRP, means inclusive of all taxes. So taxes are also included in it. So actually taxes are not part of any economic activity, or that part of payment does not result in any economic development taking place. So that tax amount is deducted. So that MRP method means all taxes are deducted, and subsidies. Subsidies are payments made by the government during the process of production at any point of time. So all those subsidies are actually hiding the actual cost. So these subsidies are to be added. So taxes deducted, subsidies added, give you a clear idea of what is the actual economic activity taking place and how value addition is taking place. So that is called GVA, gross value added. So this is the concept. So this is what we saw presently. Then there are two more points of view, nominal and real. So at what rate GVA is calculated, anything, GDP, GNP is calculated. Nominal means at current prices, and real means at constant prices. So this takes care of inflation too. So means constant prices means one base year is used, and depending on the base year prices, what is the present GVA. So that adjustment once done is called real GVA. So because over a period of time there may be inflation too. So then GVA values may differ. So you will have a false idea of GVA increasing, rather it is actually inflation increasing and not GVA. So that's why that is real GVA at constant prices, and current prices what is there presently. So that is called nominal GVA. So this is the difference between nominal and real. Then this is regarding the growth rates in India too. So over the years. So this you can see. Red represents GDP growth rate, blue is GVA growth rate. So 2015-16 you can see the growth rates. 16-17 after all quarters, when the financial year gets over in March 2016. So that time we will come to know what is GVA growth rate too, and GDP growth rate too. So this is GVA growth rate over this quarters as well. So 2014 last 2 quarters, 2015 3 quarters, it is shown. So this is that. And the next news item then is Delhi Meerut Rapid Rail Project gets green light. So this is regarding Delhi Ghaziabad Meerut Rapid Rail Transit System. So this Rapid Rail Transit System corridor has finally got its approval, and this is expected to become operational by 2024. So this is connecting Meerut and Delhi. So it's 92 kilometers here, which will be connected through high-speed trains. It is 160 kilometer per hour train which will be running through this route, and this will reduce the travel time. So it's presently 2 hours, which would be reduced to approximately half to 1 hour. So this is the transit project. So you should just know about major infrastructure projects in the country. So that is why it has been added. So there are other projects also, Delhi Panipat, Delhi Alwar. So in these corridor projects too, they are also expected to become operational, and there is some realignment required in these rapid rail transit system projects. So that is also been approved. Then the next news item is BJP MP urges McDonald's not to buy battery cage eggs. So McDonald's buys eggs for its commodities, what it prepares, but then these eggs brought from India are from battery cage. So battery cage are these units. So in a factory based system, these units are there in which each cage, the MP says, it's as big as an A4 size paper. So in these cages the hens are placed. They have no place to move as well, and they are stacked one top on the other all along. So that's why they are called battery cages. Just like batteries, they are stacked together. So recently McDonald's had claimed that it would switch from these cage based eggs to cage free eggs in various countries like USA, Canada, South Africa, but no such initiative was taken in India. So presently the BJP MP is demanding such an initiative taken by McDonald's in India as well. So it can buy eggs from hens which are reared in open farms rather than in these battery cages. So that is the demand. Also in such battery cages, there is an increased likelihood of contracting Salmonella bacteria. So this Salmonella bacteria is the one which results in food poisoning as well. So this is also avoided if this is not the pattern of keeping hens. So that is against human rights too and may result in diseases as well. Then the next news item is NIA to probe Nagrota terror attack. So earlier we saw that army had issues with allowing NIA to investigate Nagrota terror attack, but then the Home Ministry has given approval order to the National Investigation Agency to start its probe. So first information report FIR has been launched, and the identity of the terrorists who stormed the camp is unknown. So that remains unknown. They are called foreign handlers against whom this FIR has been launched. So this was, you should know, Nagrota attack on November 29. So we already discussed it, the elephant grass behind which they hid and entered into the camp. So this is there. The charges against them is under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act of 1963. So charges have been framed under this. Then the next news item is US lawmakers say Indian action against Christian charity dogmatic, troubling. This is regarding the US based NGOs and specifically one prominent NGO, Compassion International, on whom restrictions have been imposed by Indian government. So it's an NGO functioning in India too. So it provides funding further to Indian based NGOs. So these Indian based NGOs, the source of fund for them is tracked. So that is under Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So under this FCRA, this funding route is tracked, and presently the government has put all funding from Compassion International under prior permission category. So prior permission has to be taken before this funding is done by CI, Compassion International, to any NGO in India. So this is the point on which US lawmakers, means US political party leaders who are members of the Congress, means Congress is the US Parliament is called Congress. So this Republican and Democratic, both political party leaders have raised their voice against this restrictions on Compassion International. And the Indian government says the reason for these restrictions are that the funding provided by this body is used for convergence, religious convergence. So that is why they have put it under prior permission category. Also earlier there was news that even the US Secretary of State, John Kerry, had raised his voice on this issue, specifically mentioning this one particular NGO from USA. So that shows the clout as well. Then the next news item is, and the last one, jumping robo to assist in earthquake rescue efforts. So this is Salto, saltatorial locomotion on terrain obstacles. So this is a robo which has been developed by US scientists, which can jump great height. So it's replicating the world's best leapers, the animals which leap. So this has been developed to assist in rescue efforts during earthquake. So when there is a huge amount of rubble because of an earthquake, and if anything is moved, it may affect the lives which are trapped beneath. So these robots can jump across these obstacles. They are very light. So the height and weight, you can see it's just 100 grams. Its height is also 26 centimeters. So it's a one-legged small robot. So it can have high leaps which it can take, and with the sensors attached to it, it can go through this rubble and find if there's life beneath these rubble, and wherever there is, rescue efforts can accordingly be made. So this is the benefit, how this can be used. So robotics is important from science and technology perspective. In means UPSC does ask you modern applications in various fields. So this is one application in disaster management, you can see. So that is it for today. Thank you so much.